This is Coach Matt with CrossFit Chuckanut. I'm here with my son Hans. We're going to go through that first part of the fundamental building blocks for mobility practice. This is talking about the hip hinge or the squat part of your body. And the first test, so we're going to go through a test, different tests, and then I'm going to work through and it's going to show you some mobility practices that you can do. And then you're going to want to retest that same day after you've done the mobility and just see where you're at. So it's a test, doing about 10 to 15 minutes of mobility practice, and then retesting, seeing if you've got more full range of motion with your body. So the first test that we're going to talk about, or we're going to do, is we want to stand up tall. Sorry about that, cutting off my head. But we're going to hinge at our hips, and we want to maintain that back straight. And we're going to go to about a 90-degree angle. So my legs should be straight, and then my back, so I should maintain that good lumbar curve. So I should be able to hinge up and then hinge right over into that 90-degree position. And then the next test that we're going to talk about, he's going to be laying on the ground, and he should be able to bring his left leg straight up to about 90. And we want that bottom, the leg that's on the ground, straight on the ground. And you'll notice he's got a slight bend. Sorry about the angle of the video, but he's got a slight bend in his leg on this one. Put that leg down, Hans, and then let's bring the other leg up. For this right leg, it's actually, he's got a little bit better mobility. Still a little slight bend, but overall it's straight up and down. So if you notice, some people don't even have that mobility, and you'll notice that they have to bend their knee a lot more, and they really never reach that 90-degree angle. So those are the two pieces. Those are the two tests that you can do, and then. Okay, so this is our first mobility piece that we're going to talk about. This one, he's got his right leg in the band, and so he's got some distraction happening. And then the next piece that's going to happen is he's going to take this leg and pivot it in. So we've got that external rotation, and all he's working, it's going to be a very, very little bit of a work on that, creating a little bit of tension with that femur. You can imagine you've got a softball, which is like the end of your femur, and a softball mitt. And what we want to do is we want to find out that best spot. We want to kind of hunt around and set that softball right into that glove in the best position that we can think of or we can feel. The other one that he's going to do after he's done that for about a minute or so, he's going to actually he's going to rotate his foot out, and he's going to be in that internal rotation, and he's going to oscillate back and forth. So it's a very small movement that we're going to do. So the next one that okay, so here's the next mobility piece that we're going to do. This one is, the band is a little bit higher up on the post, and he's got the band still up. We're working with the high up on the hip. And he wants to start off with standing up. He's going to stand up, and he's going to have a slight bend in that left leg as he comes over the top. And then he's going to straighten that leg. So what we're doing is we're flossing that posterior chain. I think many of you have done this before, and you just need to floss it back and forth. We're looking for about 30 to 40 flosses on each leg. So this is our second piece. So let's go to the next one. Okay, for this one, you're going to need either a chair or you might have one box at home that you can use, coffee table. But what we're looking to do is we're going to go high up in our glutes, not all the way to our bone or hip, but we're going to be high up in our hip. And all we're going to use, like this is a softball, but you could use a supernova, one of those blue supernova mobility pieces, and we're just going to kind of go floss back and forth. So right now Hans is going to get on top of that. So he's going to keep his legs up on the box, and he's just going to work that left side back and forth. And he's going to do that one again. This one's probably about another minute or so on each side. Okay, so this is our last mobility practice for today. And we're going to take our softball and we're going to work it into the spinal erectors. And how we're going to do that is we're going to sink the ball. We're going to imagine sinking this ball under the muscle. So what we need to do is we're going to put the ball on the ground, and Hans is going to actually come up and over and kind of sink the side of his body into that muscle. So he's going to turn his body this direction and really kind of sink into it, and then move in towards the spine a little bit. So this one, it's a real small movement and just sinking in for about a minute or so.